I've been doing this list where I watch a bunch of movies that I've never watched before. Embarrassing, I know. Coming from the guy who wants to do movies in his life, has probably never seen your favorite movie. I'm not gonna lie though, I am a bit ashamed by that fact, so I've made it my personal mission to watch every single one of those movies on that list. And so far, no movie has really piqued my interest like Memories of Murder. The film was made by the one and only Bong Joon-ho. You may have heard of him. He made a little movie called Parasite. He also directed films like Snowpiercer and Okja, which are English language films that he made. I saw those too, and they're pretty good. But I personally prefer his Korean language films. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard that The Host was really good. Mother is really good. I heard a lot of good things about that at some point I want to watch those movies and want to talk about them. Memories of Murder is a crime thriller that takes place in a small town in Korea in the 1980s. It's loosely based on a true story about these string of murders that were going on during that time. Joon-ho took a lot of inspiration from these murder cases and used them as a template for this movie. A lot of the details, like the serial killer gagging women with their own panties, were taken from that case. Bodily fluids were found, but just like in real life, they didn't have the technology to trace it because the country didn't have access to it. So most of the movie is these group of detectives on their feet, just trying to find out who the killer is. And it's raw as hell. While the murders are an important part of the movie, it's not entirely about that. The film is just really about the chaos that was going on around that time and how ill-prepared that the police were in dealing with a situation like that. You would think, given the subject matter, that the police slash the detectives are the good guys. They're the guys that we follow for most of the film's runtime. They're all about justice, right? Detective Dooman, is played by the guy from Parasite, is a guy who goes by his instincts and goes through shortcuts to get what he wants. He's a guy who takes the easy way out and tortures innocent people into confessing crimes they didn't commit, so that by the end of the case he's hailed as a hero. Meanwhile, the other detective, Tae-yoon, holds an opposite philosophy. He's someone who uses data and logic to get his point across. These two detectives with these opposing philosophies often clash with one another, and the more time that the movie goes on for, they seem to get further and further away from finding the killer, and the stress starts to seep in with these two. Then we have Dooman's partner, who's just the nicest guy in the world. There's several scenes like this where people are just drop-kicking each other. This movie can be really funny at times, but it does it in a way where it doesn't ruin the tone or the themes of the film. I think what really sells this movie is its visuals. There's a lot of scenes that are visually striking to see despite it all being taken place in this small town. The film's use of desaturated colors help emphasize the bleakness of the world around them. The inspectors are shown to wear these colors to signify them blending in with their environment, almost like they're a product of where they're from. Meanwhile, the use of several colors like blue, red, green, white, they're used to give these hidden details that represent the undertones that the film is choosing to portray. For example, the color green is often seen with the grass and often is the place where the killer tends to hide and murder his victims. Grass is also the area where the detectives take their suspects for questioning, so it could be interpreted that the color is associated with the mystery, the color of the suspect, the color of the convict. Meanwhile, blue is more associated with what the people of the town wear. The workers, the surgeons, and other bystanders. It's portrayed as neutrality or innocence. There's a character who's mentally challenged, and the detectives originally convict him with the crime after getting a confession out of him. In these scenes where they're questioning him, he's wearing green. But soon after they realize that he isn't the killer, they release him and he starts wearing blue when they see him again. There's a lot of other examples of the use of color in the movie that I don't want to give away because I don't want to spoil what this movie has to offer. Ultimately, it's a movie that puts you in a position where you're hooked from the minute it starts, and you're just waiting to see where the journey ends up. With one of the best climaxes I've ever seen, and the ending is just so perfect. It's these bright colors that contrast with such a chilling message. Hello, thank you guys for watching this and sticking around till the very end. I really do appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. I know this format is a little bit different than my typical YouTube videos that I usually put out, but I wanted to do something different. I wanted to show you guys some things that I thought were interesting and hopefully you might like. Just talking about movies that I really like compared to stuff that I really don't care about, like the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I mean, I don't really care about that. I want to talk about films that I actually enjoy and I revisit and I can talk to endlessly about it with someone. And that's what I decided to do. I wanted something more challenging, something fresh, something new, something interesting to talk about. Something I want you all to check out and seek on your own behalf. Please let me know if you've seen Memories of Murder so we can have a conversation about it down in the comments below. Oh, in other news, I just recently started a Patreon, so if you want to, please check it out. I have it in the description below. I need some form of income, guys. This is one of my favorite things to do, but it does take up a lot of my time to edit and get out there, so hopefully this is able to be seen, and maybe you guys would be interested in chipping. You don't have to chip in too much, just $1 is fine. And whatever makes you feel comfortable, just anything would suffice. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I don't want to ask for too much, but anything would be fine. You can find it down on the description below, as well as my other social media. And yeah, that's pretty much it. See you guys.
Rain